Yeah, what's good, Joe? Shaman the Bigga P, and I'm here to record my thoughts from last night's fights on HBO. For the most part, they were pretty good. I have no real complaints. None of them were real Fight of the Year candidates yet, but I'm pretty sure with the fights that are upcoming in the next, I'd say, 2 months, I'm pretty sure we'll start getting a couple of those. But let me start off by talking about the first fight, which was on HBO Latino. I think it's like the first time I actually seen this actually happen on HBO do this. They put in my opinion, they probably should have put this on the main card. It was between Salgado and Mendez. I think it was the second fight, and I'd seen highlights of the first fight, and I thought it was I thought it was pretty good. I think Salgado did hit the deck in that one too, but I think it was a little controversial in the first fight. Second fight, there was no doubt about it. Mendez nearly ended matters in the first round, with the beautiful right hand. So I thought he was just done because the shot he took, because it was just like the way he fell, it was just like he had no life in him. But to the credit, he did get back up, and Mendez was just hitting him in counters at will. It really wasn't even a contest. It wasn't really too competitive either. Um, I was shocked because Salgado was the champ, and I'm thinking he'd probably show a little bit more fire than that. And Mendez kept hitting him counters, and then in the fourth round, he hit him with that left hand, and he fell, and he just went limp. I thought, yeah, that's done. You need to call that off. Um, I was highly impressed by Mendez. He showed some really fast hands, fast counters. Um, Salgado, I'll just chalk it up to as it was probably an off night for him because either his mind wasn't in what he was doing or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he'll bounce back. But I was highly impressed by that fight. I was highly impressed by KO. Um, it was good stuff, and I'll definitely keep my eye out on Mendez in future fights. Um, the next fight, which took place on regular HBO broadcasts, was between Keith Thurman and it was Jan Zaveck. If I pronounced the name wrong, I pronounced it right wrong. But in this thing, I like Keith Thurman. He's a harder puncher. He swings wildly at times, and he seems durable enough. But I figure, that's what it is. He's a prospect. He's still young in his career. So I was thinking that maybe those types of traits that he's used to will disappear eventually. And for the most part, prior to this fight, he had never been past 8 rounds. And Zavic was a fighter that I thought maybe was getting a little bit long in the tooth. Um, because Zavic, it only been stopped once, and that was by Berto in, I think, 6 rounds. And that was only because Berto just managed to chop up his face, not because he wasn't game. They had to stop the fight because of those cuts. But I honestly thought that Thurman would put away Zavic within 8 rounds. You know, if I actually bet money on actually that happening, I would have lost. For the most part, but Thurman did show something else. He showed patience. He showed a jab. The wild shots were not there at all. He showed a body attack, a very punishing body attack. I'm surprised Zavic didn't fall from that body attack. And he picked his punches. He was very economical with his punches, and that's what I thought. I thought that was impressive. Now, probably a lesser fighter would have, regardless, would have been taken up, but Zavic showed absolute will, iron will, and even a chin too, to take the beating that he took. When he drank, this fight got more interesting to me once the eighth round was done, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I was just looking. I was like, will Zavic fall? And Zavic, even for a while, Zavic was actually catching him with a couple of hooks, a couple, wide punches. He saw something. He hit him with some nice counters. Nothing that really budged him at all, but um, yeah, it looks like it went the distance, and in truthfully, it was probably a fight that Thurman needed a fight with a tough veteran, someone that gave him that 12-round education, and learn you can't bomb out everybody, within the distance. Um, so it was fighting, and just to make sure his stamina was intact, which it was, because I didn't see any gasping for air. I didn't see any significant slow down activity. Zaveck made him work for that win, and like I said, he impressed me with that, and I have no problems. I had no problems with that fight. Zaveck was a tough guy, and at least Zaveck. I do think he probably should deserve another shot, another big fight. I don't want him to be relegated as a gatekeeper just yet. But Thurman did definitely show that he's a definite prospect at 147. Although for me, I thought he was at 154. I thought he was fighting at 154 for a minute. I guess not, or either that, or I confused myself. But Thurman, I think earlier I watched. I was on YouTube and I saw the video with him and Malignaggi going at it at the post-fight presser. Thurman and Malignaggi. I mean, at that point, it's probably not it's not a fight, because I know Paulie's probably at this point where he's going for the money, and Thurman is not main event money as he was proclaiming on that video. But Thurman has definitely a shot to be a good player. At 147, give him a chance, give him maybe one more significant fight with a notable fighter. Hey, throw him with a top contender, or give him a title shot. No problem with that at all. Which brings us to our main event, Bernard Hopkins versus Hopkins-Cloud. Now this fight, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a struggle to watch. It was a complete struggle to watch. Mostly because there was low activity on both men, when really there should have been low activity on one. Bernard did what he usually does, low activity. I know he said this camp he was working on throwing more combination punches, which he did do at times. I have no problem with that. But the biggest point was Hopkins-Cloud, and I'm a fan of Hopkins-Cloud. Have been since I saw him knock out Julio Cesar Gonzalez. What was it? 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, Friday Night Fights. And and I liked that he was durable. I liked that he had power. And he had good stamina. I just don't know why because to be a current version of Bernard Hopkins, you got to have some activity. You got to have lots of activity in order to beat him. That's how you at least get, And I thought, Cloud would be able to do this. I just don't know why he decided to fight 31-year-old, try to fight at Bernard's pace. When he did that, the fight was pretty much lost for him. At that particular point, and Bernard, I call him his old man tactics. He, roughed him up on the inside, and then the cut that they called was from an elbow or headbutt. No, that was not that wasn't an elbow or headbutt. Camera work, and this was some really good camera work. Caught literally the left hand that opened him up, and there probably should be instant replay on that. But what are you gonna do? But nevertheless, Cloud had his moments in the later rounds. There was one particular right hand that he managed to catch Bernard with when he was on the ropes that took his head all the way back. But it was just like, it's just like there was just no activity. Cloud just let Bernard outwork him. Like, he landed more punches. He threw more punches too, I believe. And it's like, but nevertheless, I'm figuring, do people, do they possibly actually want Bernard Hopkins as a champion? Because I was very interested when I was like, are they going to job the man, or are they going to rightfully award him the fight, which they did. And for the most part, Bernard, like I said, my hat's off to Bernard. Bernard, at 48 still remains an actual wonder. Bernard is definitely a special fighter, definitely a special fighter. Because he managed to throw off an in prime champion, undefeated champion, and very convincingly. So my hat's off to him. where does he go from here? He goes. I think I know he mentioned fighting cleverly or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. As for Cloud, I'm just really disappointed at him. I mean, just for him to, it would be something if he actually showed fire to actually go in and take out Hopkins or try to, or at least try to beat him on activity. But he let Bernard dictate the pace, and that's what happened. He slowed down. He showed no activity. He showed no plan B once he could hit him with the right once he could hit him with that right hand of his. Um, Nothing. He didn't go to the body. He didn't go to the body too that much, and it was just. I mean, inside he was being roughed up. Inside there was just nothing, no plan B or anything, and it was just disappointing to watch. I mean, I could maybe blame it on hate because he's wild and active because that was his first fight in 13 months, and for a light heavyweight champion, that shouldn't really be unless he was injured. Because I mean, he had that close shave against Campillo last year, and then after that, I know they were trying to make a fight with Pascal, and Pascal got injured, and then he was stuck in limbo. I mean, he probably should have had at least an active fight or whatever before, instead of facing someone like Bernard Hopkins. But I was very, very disappointed at that, at Cloud at that particular fight, and hopefully, he takes his learned lesson, he bounces back. And on another note, from what was brought to my attention, pretty much the whole fight, that Tavares-Cloud was probably the last major fighter that Don King actually had in a stable. Um, so I know Bernard Hopkins is going around saying that yes, Don King is finished. And I mean, do I believe? I mean, Don King's he's in his 80s. I mean, I can't see him being as vigorous as he used to be, back in his heyday when in the 70s, 80s, and 90s when he was really doing it and really being one of boxing's bane existences. But hey, if this is Don King's last hurrah, you know, you gotta admit, for better or for worse, he did bring boxing into a new era, so to speak. Um, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not saying Cloud isn't done yet. I mean, Cloud could still be effective at 175 because frankly, 175 is not the strongest division wise, like not champion wise. It's not the strong division contender wise either. So I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if Cloud bounced back, but yeah, it's interesting to see where not just Cloud or Hopkins, like how the whole 175 division is going to go forward, because Bernard could feasibly keep that belt until he's 50. It's amazing. Like I said, it's amazing that you see a man like that. Who are most of his peers, like your peers like James Toney and Roy Jones, are pretty much finished fighters. Um, at this particular point, he's still, he's still reigning on top of a division. He's not the man at division because I know because of the fights with Chad Dawson. Um, and well, I obviously don't see a third fight with Chad Dawson. I don't think Chad will actually entertain that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the light heavyweight division is gonna be like going forward. With Bernard as champion again, because I mean he's 48 years old. I mean I would expect there should be someone out there that could beat him feasibly on activity. But like I said, as long as Bernard keeps his focus, keeps training the way he does, he's actually, he's probably a model fighter, probably one of the best role models of fighters, someone who actually keeps himself in top condition with no vices. But we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that's those are my thoughts from the fights from yesterday, and right now I'm about to. I know if I turn on the TV, it's probably a replay of those fights, so I may watch it just for old time's sake as I go make some breakfast for myself. All right, yo. All right, you guys, look out. I know there's gonna be more. There's gonna be some interesting fights next week, and I know so on for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, just look out for more videos and more commentary from me. All right, peace.